違いを作りたいんで、同じようなことで言いたいんですけど、はい。
Hello. Hope everybody's doing all right. I am trying to see if everything's okay. I'm using different. Normally, I use over-ear headphones. And as I had stated last stream, I've started to use in-ear monitors, which are the little earpieces that they give to people that are on like stage and such. And I was hoping that might be a little bit of an upgrade, and it kind of is. It kind of is, but it also kind of is weird. So. My apologies. I feel like I haven't been in a stream in months. It's been a minute, and then on top of that, my streaming has been a little bit I won't say unreliable. It's been different, because of the way that I've taken time off, and I've been doing things, and so hey, Fighting Max, hope you're doing well. Hope all's well with everyone. Yeah, to you all as well. On the second day of the year of whomever you wish to give this year to, 2026. You could have the year of our Lord, but I don't think everybody here shares the same beliefs religiously, so we'll just say whomever you wish to give that to. There we go. Things have been all right. I've enjoyed a good amount of time off. I'm not excited to go back and deal with the nonsense that I had to deal with prior, and I've talked about a little bit of what that kind of nonsense was in the last Gallery of Thought. And that's part of, I don't like the idea. Here's the thing. I don't like the idea of New Year's resolutions because it gives too many people an excuse to wait an entire year if they fail, right? So if something is going right, great. Our Lord Tommy Wiseau. I did not hit her. I did not. I gotta go back and watch The Room. I haven't watched The Room since close to when it came out. I need to go watch it again though. I really remember loving it. Is the year of the fire horse. In what mythology? Is it like in Chinese mythology or Asian mythology of a different, because a lot of times you have the year of the goat and the year of the sheep and all that. Is it something like that, or is it just something you're like, nope, this is the year? No, I was saying, in terms of New Year's resolutions, I'm not a big fan. I would cast Tommy Wiseau as a vampire. Oh yeah, he'd make a great vampire. He absolutely would. The long black hair and the penchant for vampire-esque clothing, such as loose-fitting collared shirts and leather. I know The Room is supposed to be like the worst movie of all time, but I love it. I really do. Chinese Zodiac. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I just didn't. I am not even a little bit Asian, and so I do not know very much about a lot of the goings. It doesn't mean obviously that doesn't mean I can't know about them. It just means that I don't have anything that kind of inserts that into my life unless I actively go for it, and I have not. So, but that's actually really cool. I mean, it's really cool. It's really cool sounding. It's really, really cool too. Waiting for the start of the new year to change something is weird to me. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't like the idea of a New Year's resolution because I think it gives a lot of people an excuse. I think it gives a lot of people an excuse to wait. So, like, for example, I say, oh, my New Year's resolution is that I'm going to eat better, and then I fail on the 4th week of January. Now it's like, well, okay, 2027, and now I have 11 months of bad habits that I continue to rack up because I make the excuse that 2027 is going to be the year, right? I don't care about that. I don't want that to be the case. It's not going to be the case for me. But that doesn't mean that the new year doesn't mean that I have a time where I kind of reflect a little bit more deeply on what I didn't do in 2025 that I would like to do in 2026. Doesn't mean if I fail, this is where it's going to end, and doesn't mean, it's not that. And I think the thing that I did come to in having spoken with a lot of you guys in the Gallery of Thought is, for me, I think what I want to do is, there are 3 major things I want to do. There are 3 major things I want to do this year, and I will do them this year. I didn't think about them last year. I would have done them last year had I thought about them. Number 1 is I'm not going to continue to give more time than I get something out of it unless it is for someone that I care about, right? And that sounds really awful because it sounds like, oh, he's just giving up on altruism. And of course, I've talked about pointless altruism being a harmful thing. But when it comes to businesses, when it comes to work, when it comes to, I am going to work very, very hard as I always do, but I'm not going to continue to give work to people who don't pay it back, right? And that can be a company, that can be an individual. If I have somebody who's interested in just taking and taking and taking, I will suddenly find myself with less to give. Not because I don't have it, but because I don't will it to be given. With work, it'll be the same way. I was spending early in the morning to late at night. I'm not getting enough for that. So my day is early in the morning until the end of the day, 8-9 hours, right? Whatever the thing calls for. Hardest work I can give, best quality work I can give. Not going to skimp on that. But when that cutoff happens, It's done. That's the end of the day for me. Now it's personal life. I think that's going to be good. Hey man, it's 2026. If you want to be Asian, identify as Asian. How dare anyone tell you? So I stopped making New Year's resolutions. That's fair. I mean, it is fair. It's just not giving yourself the excuse to wait another year. Yeah, no, I don't identify as Asian. I'm not Asian at all. I am blonde-haired and blue-eyed, with obviously gray and white and quite a bit of gray and white in my hair, but and beard. But otherwise, yeah, I'm blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and I'm proudly American, but I'm also of Scandinavian descent. So, very proud of all of the things that I am, and very proud for other people who are all of the things that I'm not. That's what I want to do. That's one of the things I want to do. I want to stop giving time and things to people or organizations or groups, whomever, that might show that they don't appreciate it. Again, I'll give my best work. I'll give the full day work every day, every single time. But then when that last hour hits and I finish up the work, once that the clock is off, I'm off. I'm not going to take phone calls. I'm not going to take emails, or that'll wait till tomorrow. If somebody needs something from me, they can call me during work hours. That'll be fine, and I'll happily help them, but it just has to be that way. Identify as rich, which is weird, as my bank account hasn't altered. It just doesn't align with you, man. Number 2, I want to start doing things for myself, specifically, not like, meditative, but I want to start doing things for myself. I have so many things that I want to put out, creatively speaking. And I had some idea about doing it, and I got bogged down. And so this is tied into the first one a little bit. But I had so many things I wanted to do. I don't care if I get paid or make money from them as much as I care about just putting it out there. Because and I've talked about this, Ash, with you, Fighting Max, I think we've talked about this also. It seems like everything is getting so bogged down, and I kind of did an analysis of it these past couple of days, what I believe to be an analysis of it, I guess, which is, I think we're so sterilized in a weird way. COVID made it worse, but I think people always want to be in their little boxes. We all want to organize things and put them in their boxes, and we want to be identified in different boxes ourselves. And even if it's a box that says it's not a box, it's now a new box, right? It's kind of, and I'm not saying this to be rude to anybody, but of course I've talked about this before, the binary of non-binary. Somebody says, I want to be non-binary. I know that they're talking about gender non-binary. I don't care. That's fine. But you are still a binary. You've just become a part of a new binary, which is the binary of people who identify as non-binary versus the other side of that, which are people who do not identify as non-binary. So there is a binary to everything. There is a math to everything. And it kind of, and what we've decided to do is get so specific in those and sterilize ourselves and forget about the fact that we are really just a bunch of inexcusable, fairly articulate primates, and kind of just relish in that for a minute. Not saying let's go back to being ignorant. Not saying that. Not saying let's go back to being uneducated. Not saying that. But let's stop for a minute and just kind of enjoy the fact that we can climb a tree. Just kind of enjoy the fact that we can go and roll around in the dirt. Enjoy the fact that it's okay if you and your significant other has 2 straws and a single milkshake. It's not going to contaminate you. It's okay. It's not going to hurt you. And if it does, it'll be an experience. It's not going to kill you. And if it does, you won't know. I mean, there's all kinds of these, it's just like, don't, like, I don't know. We feel like we've become these sterile, individual plastic bodies of nothingness. We don't think unless it's societally okay. And when society says we need to be this kind of sterile, we don't shake hands and hug and again, be appropriate, right? Obviously, don't go touching people without their consent, but like shaking hands and hugging close friends and relishing in contact that is appropriate contact. One of the things that my family, my brother and friends and those groups used to do is you can shake hands, right, which is fine, but we would grab the forearm of the person, right, shake the forearm of the person, and then come in and give a hug. And that may seem old-fashioned, right? The old idea was, they're hiding something up their sleeve. The idea is you can miss on a handshake. It's real hard to miss grabbing an entire forearm. It's not even about that. And it's about just a deeper connection, physical connection there. Like, do stuff like that. Have fun, Think deeply, obviously. Things are going to get burdensome, but like as a race, as a species, ever since, I can't even begin to tell you how different it has been since I was younger. And when I was younger, there was a little bit more of that. And now we've just become so sterile. And these cardboard cutouts of what we should actually represent. The colors are faded and shallow, and the depth of the thing itself is also shallow, not just and it's like, man, we are so pathetic. And I mean we as a species altogether, what we've become. I'm not talking about anyone individually here or anything like that. I don't want to cause any issue there, but yeah. I still want to make a side channel with you, man, just timing and actually being reliable, which is rough for me. That's all right. It's all right. Again, I want to do that kind of stuff too, but there's no no pressure, but we gotta, for me at least, I'm not gonna say we, because I don't want to give you anything that doesn't work for you, but I have to work more diligently at just doing things I want to do and stop spreading myself so thin and realizing that I don't want to be 80 years old before I get to figure out how to live life, right? I want to live life now, and yes, I need to work, and yes, I need to contribute, and yes, I need to do things. There are responsibilities, and I don't think that we should shirk those, but I also think we need to start drawing lines about what things are and aren't going to be okay. When it goes to work, if you're 9 to 5, be 9 to 5. You want to be a little early? You want to work a little late? Sure, that's great. But if you start finding yourself on 9 to 5s going in at 7 and coming out at 7 or 8, you're cutting out of your own space for a promise that may never be fulfilled. Don't do that. Don't do that. Take your time and appreciate your time. There's no amount of money that you're being paid that is going to make up for the amount of time and experiences that you may have lost in doing that. So don't do that. And that's where I am. That's kind of where I am in a lot of that. I want to work hard. I'll be a contributor to society in the way that I have to, and I will do my darndest. I'll do my best work. But a lot of times nowadays, I was kind of thinking about this, and I'd seen this, people are getting punished for being good at their job. And this is old wisdom, by the way. I was reading, we were talking about religion for a second. I was reading the Havamal. For anybody who doesn't know the Havamal are in the Poetic Edda, which is Snorri Sturluson, but it's supposed to be the poems written down, the wisdom of Odin. It's supposed to be that, right? One of the things is it talks about being incompetent is evil, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but being incompetent is evil, but being too competent is also bad, right? If you finish your work early, you're going to be asked to pick up somebody else's slack. If you're really smart, people are always going to come to you. And it's like, I don't think that means be ignorant, but I think that means understand the boundary, understand where it's appropriate to draw a line. And I haven't been good about that, and that is my failing. Retro's always trying to get me to roll around the dirt with him, weirdo. I'm talking about the touch grass kind of thing, but yeah. So what you're telling me is when I visit, we can share straws. I'm not repulsed by that kind, and I wasn't during COVID either, so that stuff doesn't bother me. I don't care. I mean, there's a level where things can get a little, where it's like, ugh, but yeah, no, I'm not bothered by a lot of that stuff. That would be the way it used to be. Again, my friends, like, you'd have a drink and hey, pass it down, let them try it, and we'd all share the same glass. We didn't care, and that didn't really change all that much. But for everybody else, it's just kind of, everything's become so sterile. So, to be fair, COVID's ruined those acts of contact. It has, but there are things. You're exactly right. But those acts of contact are, here's the thing, you can get sick any which way. Are you minimizing your chances of getting sick? Sure. In some ways you are, but then you have such a fear of, and I'm not saying you specifically, of course, Fighting Max or Ash or myself even, but then you have such a fear of getting sick that you eventually sequester yourself into an area where you have no immune system anyway. So then your risk of getting sick skyrockets from just standard airborne illness. And it's like, man, so like, might as well just have the fun, get sick, develop some immunity, and go with it, and get shots when it's appropriate, right? If you feel like if you do a flu shot every year and that's what you want to do, get a flu shot. Like, that's fine. If you want to have a COVID vaccine, get a COVID vaccine. I don't care. But stop letting everything, be scary. I kind of, the saying I've always had in this, and this is the easiest one, is if you are, there are either two outcomes, right? Either I'll make it or I won't. If I make it, then wonderful, I'll survive and I'll have the experience. And if I don't, I won't realize I didn't, and it won't be a big deal. And that's exactly how I feel almost all the time. Death's not a big deal to me. So I made peace with that a long time ago. And it's not even a religious thing. It's just literally, I don't care. I'm fine, right? I'm not looking for it to come to me early, but I'm also not worried when it comes. That really enables me to do a lot of thinking on, I'm going to have this experience. either I make it or I don't. If I make it, wonderful, I learned something. If I didn't, and I won't have known that I didn't make it. Something I'd really love to change this year is the country I live in. But really, realistically, it didn't happen anytime. I mean, the thing that's really tricky for you, honestly, here's kind of where what if you went north? And hear me out. I know that doesn't change a ton, right? But what if you went to, like, I know it's still Great Britain, right? But would a change of scenery, if you went up to, like, Scotland, would something like that be refreshing enough and accessible enough for you to kind of make some adjustments? And I know that's not, exactly where you might want to go. Like, you may want to go ahead and you may want to, take a hop across the lake, and I'm saying that facetiously, a hop across the lake and hit, like, Belgium, but just as a side note, just stop being scared. Get in my van. My other half likes the idea of Scotland too. I mean, just beautiful. Ireland and Scotland, and obviously I know the Ireland part is divided, right? Because, but seriously, I think Scotland is. I mean, think about that. It's a change of pace, change of scenery. It's less city orientated in a lot of regards, in a lot of places. Now, obviously, Scotland's got its cities too, but then you've also got a lot more of that kind of roaming, touch grass. I mean, we love Scotland. The small part, that's the thing that I laugh about, is the small parts of me that aren't Scandinavian are Scottish. That from my and even still they're Norse Gaels, but my mother and her side of the family, we're the Baines. I'm actually most likely going to have my name changed. My name is not that, but I might likely have my name changed back to Bane. And because that's a side of the family I've been very, very close with for a very long time, and I've spent too many years wearing a name that doesn't make sense to me. And Bane is a Norse Gael Scottish name, so. Norway and Sweden are and those places are good. Yeah, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, Denmark, Scandinavia. Again, specifically, I love Scandinavia, and I think Reykjavik is pretty nice. A lot of people seem to be liking Reykjavik, so I mean, if you're interested, very, very. Norway and Sweden languages are similar. Danish is a little different. Iceland, I love Icelandic. I love the Icelandic language. I love it. But alas, je er dansk. What was the original? Jak, I think, was I. Jak er dansk, I guess would be the appropriate old cognate. I could be wrong. English was great too before. England was great too before. Keyword being was. I agree. But the whole world has been this way. The whole world has kind of been this way. There are very few places in the world that have, like, in Poland's kind of had an uptick in some of its stuff, and obviously Scandinavia's been pretty okay. But it's very difficult for these big players in the world because they're kind of doing the exact same thing. Which is like, yeah. Norway is the one that's always in my mind. Yeah, Norway is. I'd love to go to Norway too. I know that I know that there are some people I know in Norway that are having some trouble there. So I'm not going to say it's all sunshine and rainbows, but it's could be better. Could be. The name of the retro room doesn't sound very Scottish to me. Well, I'm not sharing the entirety of my name, obviously, but I can hint that my name is absolutely it's a Germanic and Norse, or not. I guess it would be Norman more than Norse. Normans came from Norse, but yeah, my name means he who rules with a spear. And then my last name is a false name, but yeah. Imagine if I ended up in France. Plot twist. France. I'll never end up in France. I don't dislike myself enough. That's the thing about it too. Is France is not a bad place, but the culture is a little high strung for people. For people just coming in. I get that. Yeah, but no, I'm to your point, Fighting Max. I am predominantly. Obviously, I'm an American, and I'm proud to be as much an American as I can be. There are a lot of things that are American that I absolutely abhor. There are things that America does really well. Again, we have a stable economy. We do pay out decently well, and there's a lot of different dynamic cultures that are here and all of that. And I think that all of that's really good. I do think that American work ethic is some of the hardest, but I also think that the companies are more incentivized to take bigger advantage of that. And they're not disincentivized from being a little bit dirty with money. Case in point, big companies who took PPP loans that didn't have to pay them back, even though they themselves were multi-billion-dollar corporations in a lot of instances. There are a lot of things that I think are good and are bad. And I would not curse America's name any more quickly than I would praise them blindly. So, I think America's fine. But I also do find myself constantly. I don't think America, to me, this is going to sound so terrible, and I probably am wrong, but America just doesn't feel like it has a culture beyond blind pride and not effortless, but unearned wealth. If you asked me to say what is America's culture, I couldn't tell you. I could tell you the culture of people in America. I could tell you Southern culture even. Southern culture is Southern hospitality. But these are cultures that developed within America that are not American specific cultures, right? And so then it's why you find a lot of people that'll identify with the immigrant pool that came into America, is because you will find that those did have culture, but you can't really find, there's not a lot of American culture. It's really difficult to find, at least for me it is. I can't remember if I know your full name, so I apologize. If so, I know your first name. Yes, you do. You do. I don't know if you know my full name either. It's not like share on the open internet terribly often, but you and I have talked and been friends long enough that you do know, mine. And when we did the podcast together and everything too. That was a lot of. I think I might have talked about it on that also. So, not on the podcast, but like when we were setting up before the podcast. So, yeah, and so that's kind of my. That caught me off guard. Gertrude, you got it. That's it. No, it's again, it's why a lot of American people find themselves identifying with the culture that they came as immigrants from versus the people that they are now. It's like, because think about it. Think about your culture. What is your culture? If you live in New York, your culture is a New Yorker. Well, there are stereotypes, but not culture. Fast talking, wheeling, dealing, expensive this, expensive that. But that's not a culture. That's identifiers that are indicative of potentially the wealth of a state. That's not a culture. That's not New York culture, right? That's just, our culture is just a mishmash of different cultures thrown all together in a pot. And while it doesn't seem like there's a grounded culture, that is what we can get here. Yeah, I think I appreciate the fact that we have so many, right? That's the thing. I think I appreciate that we get so many. The melting pot used to be the culture. It isn't anymore, but it used to be. Now again, it's very difficult for us. Apparently, we're upset at immigrants, and I get the illegal immigration arguments. I completely understand them. but equally, it seems like we've made the process unduly difficult, and so it's like, it doesn't feel like we're a melting pot of welcome this and that's anymore. To me, it doesn't. But I agree with you. But I think a lot of people, when you ask an American what they are, they'll tell you that they're an American, but then they can't tell you why they're proud to be an American beyond, most of them can't tell you why they're proud to be an American. Well, it's the best place to live in the world. Maybe that's true. Convince me. Why? Stuff like that. When you say the Pledge of Allegiance, again, I don't have a problem with saying a Pledge of Allegiance, but we should explain why and to what people are pledging allegiance firstly, I think, Why are you pledging allegiance? To what are you pledging allegiance? And what does pledging allegiance mean? But you start schools with, you say this every morning, you pledge this blind allegiance. Let's teach people first and then get them to pledge. You get it? It's stuff like that bothers me. And that's anywhere that does that, by the way. Retro streaming on a Saturday morning. Well, this is strange, but then again, I've seen Stranger Things. Oh, we started that. Anna and I started that. And it's been really, really cool. From what little we've seen. I think we've seen 5 episodes, but even still, really, really cool. Oh, hello. Would you like some toast? I'm getting some at the moment. At the moment? Yeah. Immigration is absolutely insane over here. Anyone treating it as a non-issue has brain damage. Hey, Vinny. I like the idea of being able to immigrate. I think that's a great thing. We're built upon immigrants and immigration. All of us are immigrants. And that was another thing is, I'll say this, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. This friend of mine, I won't give too many details, but I will say this is a friend of mine from originally from India. And he owns a series of stores, and he and I were talking, and this drunken individual comes in while I was working to help him get some stuff situated. And this drunken individual comes in and just kind of is generally unpleasant, asks him, says, are you a Muslim? If you're a Muslim, I have an issue with you. Writing this blank check. Very, he comes in, he's a drunken guy, wife and daughter. And he, if you're Muslim, I have an issue with you, and da 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 da. And of course, my friend is not. He's Hindu. He's no. I'm Hinduism. This is what I believe in. And he's very sweet, justified, and he's like 6'4", right? So this guy's not the guy that came in is like 5'8". My buddy is like 6'4", super good guy. And that guy, well, I'm American, but I can't tolerate this. I just can't tolerate, a bunch of people coming in, moving. If you're Muslim, I guess you Indian people are nice. And this is how he's saying this, right? You Indian people are pretty nice, I guess. I hadn't had a problem with you, but like the Muslim people, that's the ones I have. And I'm sitting there going, what are you talking? Because they kill people. And I'm like, everybody, it kills people. The Christian Crusades kill people. Random wars right now in the Middle East and in Ukraine and in Russia, and also domestic violence is committed here. And that's not necessarily bad people. There are complicated situations, but Muslim people, as far as I know, aren't just going and killing people en masse. And it was just this guy, and I mean, he's got this thick Southern drawl, and he's just sitting there talking. Well, I know I studied Gandhi, and of course, I'm looking at Ricky. The guy, my friend's name's Ricky. I'm looking at Ricky and I'm saying, or he goes by Ricky. Let's say that he goes by Ricky because his real name is it's an Indian name, so he's got a little bit more. It's a little bit more to it, perhaps that an untalented American tongue can't say. But he goes by Ricky, and he says, and I mean he's only been in the United States for like 6 years, right? So he's and he's super nice, just nicest guy, and this guy's just kind of coming back and, well, I've studied Gandhi and, both of us we look at each other, which Gandhi? Indira Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, well, I didn't know there were more than one Gandhi. So it just kind of shows this guy's, thought, this typical proud American's thought process. And it was like, everything is so simple to you. You don't even understand. You don't understand what you're talking about. It was just fun to see things illustrated in the way that I had been suspect that they were in the first place. And he leaves, and I'm talking with him about it. He's like, I'm sorry that happened. No, it's not your fault. You didn't, But that was your typical proud American. He was demonizing things that weren't him, praising things that were him, and no idea what he was talking about the whole way around. I pledge allegiance to the band of, what school? Hey, Ash. I'll say this on my Discord in response, but Stranger Things. Yeah, the final season was okay, but I was expecting better, and there appears to be a track record of good shows having mediocre, awful final season. Yeah, that's Game of Thrones, I think, was that way too. I don't remember. I've read the books. I've not watched Game of Thrones, but I'm pretty sure people were pretty upset about it. They want to present the story of people fighting to make a name for themselves, which has carried itself to modern society in the way that current working life is. You have to fight to get noticed. Yeah, and that's not good. One of the things we brought up about that too was also how many people that are in America are 100% American? And the answer to that question, by the way, is 0. Because I can argue even the people that are completely 100% native, indigenous to this land, wouldn't have considered themselves or classified themselves or called themselves American, because I'm pretty darn sure America was not their word for this land. So I'm gonna make a wager that 0% of people are 100% American. You're born here, you have the American title by proxy, but you're not 100% American. You came from immigrants that came down the line, a couple hundred years ago. So again, July 4th this year will mark only 250 years that this place has been an American, quote-unquote, stronghold. 250 years is ridiculously young. Let's just look at England. Good Lord. Contested though that place may have been by, the Danes and such, Dane law being a part of it, that stuff happened 1,000 years ago. This land was still here 1,000 years ago, but I can tell you right now, it wasn't something that was really being conquered or invested. I mean, everybody's kind of invested in from immigrants, as much so. If they were people that were coming in from the bordering lands, indigenous Canadian, what we'd call indigenous Canadian people now, or indigenous people from Mexico, maybe. It's like, man. So I think that's where we start losing that culture, as people start bleeding in and start shallowing out what it means to be the thing that you are. And I think we start looking for deeper meaning in cultures that were well established as individual cultures that actually had practices that were specific to them, not as a people, not as a land, because the land moved. They went and moved and conquered and did what they did, or bartered, or were diplomats, right? Whichever way their approach was. But they as a people were in a culture that had practices that moved with them. It's why I like digging back into my family's roots. It's why I like digging back into the practices that we had as a culture, no matter the fact that the land moved. Going back to the Old Norse stuff. Is the Old Norse stuff completely correct, and would it work today in society? In a lot of cases, probably not, but some of the principles and the practices that were meant to be a part of things, regardless of where you went, I think those are very important, because that is the nature of culture. BRB, Talkie Toaster call. We want to be known as the ones who forged our own path, ignoring that we got carried by the French in the Revolutionary War. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Me and Retro are related too. Technically, that's true. If I'm not mistaken. That's a fun fact, though. It's let's just do the simplest, right? That's technically true. How far back, I don't know. Fun fact, if you didn't already know this, every person that has blue eyes have a common ancestor, because blue eyes are a mutation. The ancestor, I believe, is the Cheddar Man, which has been around for a minute. But every person that has blue eyes has a common ancestor. My Italian granddad, Big Joey Retroni, is also Retro's brother-in-law. I have 0 Italian, so brother-in-law maybe. But yeah, I have no Italian in me whatsoever. I'm entirely Germanic. I don't have. I'm not this like my wife. I mean, she's Sephardic Jew and Greek and obviously Italian, and she's got all these. That was the thing when we did our our stuff. We kind of already knew what the answers were because we have a really good tie with our, you know, our family backgrounds. But she was like, yeah, I got, and you look at it and she's got all this, she's 1/4 Mexican because her grandmother was from Mexico, and she's got a good amount of Italian, and because, you know, and so they've got, they knew all these stuff. These are stories that have been passed down for a long time, you know, from their families and different sides. These were the strong, what people would today refer to as a strong oral tradition, which back then just meant you told you told stories about your people, your clans, your, you know, ancestry, and of course they do the same, and to some extent we had to. I think I might have some Viking in me, but I'm not sure. Odds are probably English. I believe most English people, I would say native English people, have on average, I think they said 6% Viking. I think that's what they said. I know for a fact I do. I have a lot. But yeah, odds are yes, you probably do have. They said on average, you know, and the blonde haired and the blonde hair and the blue eyed probably say that you have a little extra too, because a lot of that happened also. So not a guarantee, but you know, maybe an extra % or so. I know I have Italian ancestors. See, that's super cool. I love. That's one of the things. I love Italian language. I don't have any Latin anything in me, and it's such a shame because I love Latin. I love the language. There's a game I want to play on this channel eventually. It's called The Forgotten City, and it takes place in ancient Rome. And they do say, and I love Latin. Again, they say salve. That's not correct. Just as a side note, anybody who wants a quick little crash on Latin, V is a W sound, so it's salve. And so when you say Veni Vidi Vici, you hear that all the time. The C sound almost always makes the K. As a matter of fact, I think it always makes the K sound in Latin. So it's Veni Vidi Vici. Veni Vidi Vici is how you say that. Like, you know. Anyway, point being, so there are some little nitpicks I have with the language in the actual game. It wouldn't have been salve. It would have been salve. It would, you know, but you'll see. But the game is so good. If you've ever seen it, get the game. It's so good. I think it's on sale for like $6 on GOG. But if you want it on Xbox, whatever, it's like $20, $25. It's really well done though. I highly recommend. You can pass it. It's not a long game, but it's a good game. So yeah. Other than that, I'm pure white English. This should be well, okay. Some of my ancestors have immigrated from Italy. Oh, see, I love it. My wife was raised in Italy, in a little place called Aviano, Italy, and she speaks super highly of it, and I love it too. So it's really nice. Retro, should we make a channel and just pretend we do Italians? We should make the new Super Mario Bros. Super Show. With it had like Captain, I don't know if everybody remembers it, Captain Lou Albano and such. It was in the early 90s. I thought it was fun. But anyway, it was Captain Lou Albano and another guy played Luigi, and they were just New Yorker Italians. So you're Italian, but you give it the New York spin voice. Because people forget this. Before Super Mario 64, actually before there was a PC game, before that PC game, he didn't have the cutesy, like, Charles Martinet Italian voice. He had, like, this kind of gruff Italian New Yorker, like, that looks right to me. You know, he had that kind of thing. And then Charles Martinet did, like, this PC game, and he became the cute Italian, like, haha. And then they went to Super Mario 64. That's funny. There's no K in Latin, that's why. Yep. Yeah, you're exactly right. Hummus Hero, 9428. Very nice. Yeah, that's exactly. And it's the same thing. Again, you have, like, it's the V being the W sound too, which is something that you also see in Germanic branch languages. It's the languages are really similar, right? But they branch off. Like the letter eth, which you still use in Icelandic, is the same reason that you might hear the the Mexican dish enchilada, pronounced as enchilada, where it has a kind of soft th. That's not really a d in most cases. That's the letter ev. So, yeah. Well, I mean, that's yeah. No K in any of the Romance languages. I don't think actually. You might be right on that. You might be right on that. But I love Latin specifically, and it's just I love the idea that it does the same thing that Germanic languages do still to this day really well, and it's they consolidate entire sentences in single words. So, for example, if I were going to ask you, "Where do you live?" Where do you live? Right, 4 words. Where do you live? In Latin, that's habitasne. It's 1 word. Habitasne. Habitat, where we get our word, you know, habitat, right? Habitasne, and that's, you know, where do you live? So I love it. I remember watching Super Mario Bros. Super Show. That it was so cheesy in the best way. I love it. I will admit I'm still waking up, a strange flow state at the moment, to be fair, so I just feel like an observer. That's okay. That's what this is all about. That's why I'm not playing Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is fun, but it's exploratory, and I have to think a lot, and I just kind of wanted to play a couple of games. Matter of fact, I'll move over. I just kind of want to play some games in flow state. I just want to, usually when I'm thinking, or I want to just kind of achieve nothing and everything at the same time, what I do is try to steamroll a game. I tried to steamroll Donkey Kong Country. I think I finished it in like an hour and a half or something. So I'm going to try and maybe steamroll another game today, and then if I have extra time, I'll play another game that's kind of been tugging at the back of my brain for the past, I don't know how long, just depending on how much time I have. So we'll see what happens. I remember the Super Mario World show a tiny bit. Yeah. They were from Brooklyn. But they're expressly Italian. So they were New York Italian, so they had the Brooklyn accent. In the new version, it's the same thing as far as I know. They're still from Brooklyn, but they got the cutesy, like, Charles Martinet. You know, he gave him the more cutesy Italian accent instead of. But I think they're still from Brooklyn. I could be wrong. I've not seen the Super Mario movie, and I need to, because I've heard it's really good. But again, it's Chris Pratt, so the cutesy Italian voice goes away. And Charles Martinet has retired as the voice of Mario and Luigi from Super Mario Wonder. Whomever they got, it's a young guy. I think he's in his 20s. Whomever they got did a great job, but it is sad to hear the torch had to be passed already, you know? Get my tea. Okay, I have an idea. I'm only half joking too. We'll make a channel pretend to be 2 Italians from New York, where we just talk about game facts, but none of the facts are accurate. So we'll be IGN. Okay, fair. I mean, except for the Italian part, right? That's one of the things I want to do. As far as when I was talking about the New Year's resolution, that's one of the things I want to do. I want to start putting positive game content out there. I want to stop with the reviews. I mean, not the reviews, excuse me, the rating systems of 5 stars. And I want to just write, did I have fun with the game? And then I kind of want to challenge myself. Substack will be fine. I'll write. I'll put videos out, whatever I can do, but I want to put stuff out where it's now like I played a game. I'm probably going to write about retro games. Let's just be completely clear. That is the new stuff is fun. I'm playing some of the new games, don't get me wrong. Specifically, I'm playing Mafia: The Old Country, which is really fun. I really like it. But retro games are my wheelhouse. I've been playing these games for, decades. And I'm going to play, that's going to be my area of expertise, right? And so, because of that, I am wanting to write, blurbs about the games that I've played and enjoyed, and even the ones I've played and didn't enjoy. And then I want to challenge myself, basically, instead of rating it, to find an audience that might like it and an audience that probably won't, and say this, so let's say Chrono Trigger is universally loved. Here, if you love ... you should try this, but if you don't like ... you should stay away from it. And that's it. There's no rating system. You figure out what of those two categories you fit into. And then I tell you what I think about the game straight away. You know, I love this game. I hate this game, you know, but you might like it if you are into Two Worlds. If you like you know, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to stop focusing on paid reviews. I want to stop focusing on star systems, and because that's even got skewed. You know, 7 is average now on a scale of 1 to 10, which makes no sense even mathematically. I'm like, let's not do that. Let's just talk about what would be fun. Anyway, I like that. Insert Latin lyrics from Final Fantasy VII's One Winged Angel here. Beautiful song too. Also from Latin lyrics from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I think that one had a really nice Latin chorus to it, which is cool. The Latin language was also his birthright. It's me, Viri, Mamma Mia, you're a number one. And thank you so much for streaming on the Saturday morning. Wahoo! I can't get nearly as high pitched as Charles Martinet can. Italian IGN. I give this stream a strange flow state to begin the new year out of 10. Yeah, that was one of the things I liked about Pro Jared. Back in the day, he would do these reviews, and then he would be like, that's why this game gets... And he would give some weird analogy out of 10. That's why this game gets a broken marriage out of 10, you know. And that would be the review. And then he'd have to come up with this kind of interesting analogy as to why that's the thing. And I thought that was kind of a cool way to do it, so. Here's Breath of the Wild. But see, Breath of the Wild's not my favorite either, but I can say, if you like this might be why. A danged if you do, danged if you don't out of 10. Oh, I typed I typed that so you would really sound like Mark. I can't get as high pitched as he can. It's I can't do it. I can't get as high pitched as he can. It's me, Vidi, Mamma Mia, you're number one. And thank you so much for streaming on a Saturday morning. Wahoo! I can't get as high pitched as he can. Pro Jared reminds me of the bird from like Zazu. Yeah, I mean, the thing of his personal life and all that. Personal life and all that, none of my business. I don't care. You know, if he's doing stuff that's actually bad and harmful to people, then certainly that should be stopped. I don't know why. We're dog sitting right now, and that dog is, I believe, one of the dogs. We're dog sitting 2 dogs, and I believe that dog that is barking is one of those 2. So please forgive that that's probably the case. I need to find a new game to take some jabs at because I genuinely don't mind Breath of the Wild. I mean, there are plenty. Trust me, play 2 Worlds. Play 2 Worlds. That's one worth taking a jab at. I will say. There's a series on YouTube called Goosebumps Monthly where they give these exact strange ratings. Like I give One Day at Horrorland a C-3PO action figure out of 10. See, I like that. I think that's cool. The bird? Well, the bird is a word. Well, a bird is the word. He does the soft one too. That's what that reminded me of. Well, a bird is the word. Unless you're doing something seriously dark, I do not care about your personal life. If you're a content creator, just exactly. Yeah, your personal life and what you do with your wife and what you do with other people, that's none of my business. I don't care. But he plays games that the reason I like his stuff is he plays games that I grew up with. He plays games that the D&D gold box games. Well, if the bird isn't the word, let's see, hold on. If the bird isn't the word, then you are a festizio. I can't do it right now. I've got something caught on my, hold on 1 second. What did he say? Let's see if I can do it. I had a warm up. Oh man. Let's see if I can do it. Retro's def. Yeah, Peter. Well, yeah, but I've been doing. I've never tried a Mario impression. I never really tried Mario impressions. Peter Griffin. I did. I've been doing Peter Griffin impressions for like 20. Since December of 1999. So that would be 26 years. Something like that, you know? So it's like, so yeah. I guess that's when it came out. I started trying to do it the very first episode, so it's like, yeah. What if bird is neither the word nor bird? Hold on. I gotta take these out of my ear. What if bird is neither the word or the word isn't bird? What if the word bird is neither bird nor the word? What is the bird word backwards? Alucard. What if the bird is greater than equal to the word? What is the equation? Holy crap, I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. Viddy wins play. Print bird is the word. Retro borrow Viddy 20 quid. I was messing with I couldn't hear my actual. I'm gonna put one earpiece in. Retro borrow me £2,000. Good lord. I wish I had just random like £2,000 I could give out. I think I am going to go ahead and go to the game though to hit my kind of little flow state. So you'll see what game it is. Obviously it's a game I enjoy the heck out of. I think it's this button. Look at that. There we go. This year? Maybe. Probably not. Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of retro, if you've never played Borrow Me 1999, Retro could do his part then. So for anybody who doesn't know, this might be a little too loud. Hold on, we'll see. I guess it's okay. It's a little loud in my headphone, though. It's the character. The character that didn't. I know. It's so disappointing. Okay, let's do this. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know, this game is actually the Retro Replay. I have the disc of it. And it actually came with a lot of really good games. I'm going to show you, I am going to play Banjo, but I am going to show you, I'm going to try to steamroll Banjo. I know, I saw that. You showed me actually that, and I'm super excited. Replay is doing kind of okay. I want to mods Banjo. That was good. That was really well done. I hope you could replay Lee is doing well. It's really cool. Nuts and bolts band channel ban retro. This game came with this one it was $20, 20 games, and that was I think it now has the downloadable GoldenEye also on it. So it's Attic Attack, Banjo-Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts, Banjo-Tooie, Battletoads Arcade, Blast Corps, Cobra Triangle, Conker's Bad Fur Day. It is the censored version for anybody who is familiar with this. There were a couple of versions that came out. The original Nintendo 64 version, which is uncensored. The Xbox Reloaded version, which I also have. Graphics are way better, but it's still censored. I believe this is also the censored version. A censored version, which is weird because you would expect Microsoft to not be the ones to censor it and Nintendo to be the one to censor it. If I play this on the channel, if this is the censored version, I will probably play. I do have it complete in box for the 64. Censored version, yeah, I know. I do have it complete in box for the Nintendo 64, so it's very likely that if I do ever play Conker's Bad Fur Day for the channel, I will play the 64. Ash. I will play the 64 version. Digger T Rock, and then of course Grab by the Ghoulies, which is I think an underappreciated early Xbox game. It was one of the very first ones that Microsoft had Rare do when they took them over. And honestly, I think it was pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Gunfight, which is really, really cool. Jet Force Gemini, which is easily one of the hardest games on the frickin' system. Really fun, but really hard. And then, of course, Jetpack, which is super fun. Jetpack Refueled. Cameo, Elements of Power. That actually came to GOG, and I think it's on sale for like $2.99. I have purchased it on that. It's actually really fun, too. And then, of course, you get the Killer Instinct Gold, which is a classic and with one of the coolest fighting game theme songs out there. Second probably only to Mortal Kombat. Night Lore from 1984. Lunar Jetman, the Perfect Dark games, and Perfect Dark Zero is eh. This game is great, and the music is amazing. If you've never played Perfect Dark, and if you're a fan of GoldenEye, play Perfect Dark. This is such a cool game. RC Pro-Am and RC Pro-Am 2, and then Saberwolf, Slalom. Slalom's a ton of fun, by the way. It's an old NES game. Snake Rattle and Roll, Solar Jetman, Underworld, world spelt weird, and then the Viva Pinata games also. So all of those games, they were $20. I think you can now get them for like 10. Come on, like, this is one of the best values in games, in my opinion. It's up there with like the Metal Gear Solid full collection for the PS3. Mods be a streamer. Hey man, I can make a joke if I was getting a previous. I mean, I don't have a Banjo's perfect. Put it on. I don't think it's a weird thing. Again, I don't know what the heck this means. What happened? Okay. Why is it? If I here, I'll just play it wirelessly, I guess. Oh, I see what happened. Boop. How's my battery? It's fine. I had it wired in, so. I don't. The thing about words and such. I'm not saying words can't. Like somebody said this before. It says you know when you say words, you're casting spells. Willing thing. I think it was. I can't remember who it was, but anyway, it was a comedian. Pete Holmes. He was saying when you say words, you're casting spells, and willing things are in or out of existence. Maybe that's true. But I do think. I mean, obviously, it's to some point too. I also think people don't take it super deeply. I don't use it that way, but I don't think most people care. It's like, eh. KI, good. Oh, yeah. Streamer be a mod. Gold, good. Gold. 1984 by George. Oh, that would be scary. Rest in peace. I know, and they killed that new one. Sweet PS3, I got as cheap as I could a replacement for my stolen console. I'm sorry that it got stolen in the first place, though. Maction, what is that username again? It's just my username. Maction is an old username. I have had that for a long time. Yeah, probably so. I'm gonna try and steamroll. You got a new video in the Rare Reveal gallery? Which, no, not right now. Okay. The 360, you can reinstall it or check on the installation from My Games and Apps? What? Hold on. Can I just do that? Hold on. Oh, it's one of those things about the digital age, right? Doop boop. Something smells about this stream. Yeah, probably. Best 3D platform on the N64? Agreed. It smells of for one thing, it smells of an uninstallation of Banjo. I do have the I have it on 64 also, but the control scheme is better on this, and the graphics do look better also for a full 4K stream, which I believe I stream in 4K. So it looks better. I'm gonna just try to steamroll it. Game 1, time 15, 138. What do we have here? This should be the full one. 99, 900 notes. 100 jigsaws. I know where this jigsaw is too, by the way. The one that I missed, but I'm just gonna... I'll just erase this one and we'll run through it. Feeling... I sort of had a... speaking of which, speaking of the digital age, I sort of had an existential crisis. Banjo is so good. Yeah, it is. It is. I love this. I love this game. I agree. I agree with that. Can we just skip? I know the story. Oh my goodness. It looks so much better. I'm playing this through with my daughter right now on the Switch, and this version does look a lot better, but she likes the Switch better. So like I said, we're gonna try and steamroll it as much as we can, which is I'm gonna try. You solved my existential crisis. You came out in '98. None of this 2005 nonsense. So that's, yeah. Look how pretty this is, though. If you think you're already good enough, I am already good enough. I do need to go get the empty honeycombs, though. This is Derek from Stranger Things in the chat. Okay. So, I'm gonna try and do this as cleanly as I possibly can. But there's a good chance I will screw around and accidentally look like an idiot, and if I do, I apologize in advance. I love this game so much, though. This is one of my favorite games. I've been playing it for a very long time. I do a 100% run every year. The objective in this case is going to be just to do it fast. I might try to do 100%, but if it starts to slow me down, then it's just what it is. You know, when I get to the end, it'll be whatever it is, if I get there. His line in the finale, I'll admit, was kind of funny. I don't know yet. I haven't gotten that far just yet, so... Okay, something people don't know about this game. I've already made a couple of you know, what maybe you didn't know kind of things, bet you didn't know, or whatever you want to call it. If you hold the shoulder button down on the 64, or if you hold the RB button down on the Xbox, it will track the back of Banjo perfectly. In the Xbox version, it's not really all that necessary because you have perfect camera control. But in the 64 version, especially when... well, I guess it is even on the Xbox version. When swimming or when flying, that shoulder button, holding that shoulder button gives you really tight turning. And so some of the maneuvers that are necessary for, like, Gobi's Valley and such are made so much more easy. Or killing the snowman, which is a requisite for Zizi Peak, you know? You will look like an idiot. You say, well, how that's true. You did. You got me to say horse a bunch. Alright, sorry about that. I had to scratch my nose. I apologize. Okay, and here's where we do the flap flip. And that's our extra honeycomb to start with. This stuff comes in handy with places like Rusty Bucket Bay, where you run out of oxygen even if you're on the surface. So that's why I try to get all the goodies. I don't know if it's doing justice. I don't know if the way that I'm streaming it is doing justice to how good this looks to my eye, but my goodness. I hope this looks great. I hope this feels great and nostalgic, and I hope people love it, and yeah. I gotta talk to Bottles. Look how better this is over games in the other in other in its genre nowadays, except for you, Astro. You're a true contender. I really want to play Astro really bad. I gotta find it out in the wild. I try to avoid if it's something that's super. We were talking about this also, Ash. Inserted at the last minute. You're right. Okay, let's just skip. This game makes me sad. I'm sorry, Ash. I didn't mean to play something that's going to make you sad. Boop. Yeah, Rusty Bucket Bay is exactly that, Viddy. You're exactly right. Oh my goodness, I love this game so much. It is in my, it's in my top. It's not my favorite, right? I'm KOTOR and then Witcher, but this is like my third or fourth, depending. We talked about this before. I like to find games in the wild as much as I possibly can, and so I'll only really order online if it's something that I can't, if I can't find it in the wild. Like Hagane for the Super Nintendo. Ouch. Hagane for the Super Nintendo is a good example of that. You're not going to find that out in the wild, most likely, so I'll probably order, I'll order something like that online. Astro, I don't think that's quite the same. Wait, those faces show up in the chat? Yeah, they did. The emotes, I mean, yeah. Yeah, go for it. Try it. It's my recommendation is use retro to recapture your happy, man. I mean, like, I don't care about gaming news and this and that. I don't care about any of that anymore. I just want to be happy, and if that means playing this game, which is, what, 20 years old? No, 1998, I guess. So, almost 30 years old. Golly. Viddy's making fun of me, Max. Okay, now the sad faces showed up, I guess. I don't know, yeah. I mean, I can see him. Everything talks the first time, by the way. That's why I have such a big, like, that's why there's such, that's one of the things that I had made commitment to even last year, is slow down. We've got to stop going so freaking fast and getting every game that comes out and worrying that we're gonna miss out on this or that or the other. Just get what makes sense, get what you feel like you'll enjoy. Whoops. Get what you feel like you're gonna enjoy. Don't worry about whether it's popular. And if you play the same game... I gotta turn this down on my headphones, it's still too loud. I'm severely depressed. Sad face. Use retro, you mean we use you? But how? No, not me. Use retro games. Not me. I'm not. I don't know if I make people happy or not. I hope I do. I'm not. I don't let it bother me terribly much if I don't. But at the same time, I'm also excited about, using the retro. Here I am, the brain the size of a planet, and I'm watching some person play Banjo-Kazooie. You gotta know, I'm very depressed. Life, don't talk to me about life. 42 is the answer, but I know I know the question. It's rubbish. Yes, it absolutely should. I think I said either Astrobot or Shovel Knight. I would absolutely say do that. go up these little bridges. But yeah, what I'm getting at is make things fun. Like, just play games that are fun. If you've played it, like, one of the things that I love about Thumb Bros is Thumb doesn't care if it's the 50th time that he's playing Ninja Gaiden. If that's what he's having fun playing, that's what he's going to play. He doesn't care. I mean, and I don't either. I don't care if it's the 50th time he's playing that either, because I know I wasn't supposed to do that, but I don't care if it's the 50th time he's playing Ninja Gaiden because he enjoys, or Contra. I don't care if it's the 50th time he's played Contra. Just because he enjoys it so much, I enjoy watching him play it. It's just like, I've told you to do this 100 times. I think it's a good idea. You do whatever you want to, Ash. I mean that, but I think it's... I think it's a good idea. One of the things I do like that they did on the Nintendo Switch version is they did make it so that you can macro all of the controls. I need to macro it, so I forgot that they macroed it so that the two triggers put together would be the not claw clamber. What am I trying to think? I can't remember, but the what he just said. JonTron called it chicken strut. Okay, missed a note there. That's the worst thing too, is when you miss like there's a straggler note and you have to find it. My daughter and I, we had a straggler on Bubble Whoop Swamp and we couldn't find it, and it was a bugger. Whoops. I've had honey on my toast this morning. Oh, that sounds great. Honey toast is one of my favorites. I genuinely believe that 95% of games are better than what they offer now, and nostalgia only plays a very brief part in it. I do too. This is a game that I go back to pleasantly now, and maybe there is a nostalgic factor. You know, maybe I was happier in 1998. I was happy, but I also, every time I'm playing this, I genuinely love to play it. I'm playing it right now, having fun, not just from a nostalgic point of view, but from the point of view that I'm actually having fun with this game right now. Ooh, which switch? He's just experiencing Groundhog Day with a depressed English. No, not at all. I like to talk with you, but I also understand why you might mull over things, 5 or 6 times before you do it, because you want to make sure it's the right thing. I'm fine with it. I'm always fine with it. I generally believe that Toast is 100% better than all video games now, but it could be Talkie Toast or Talkie. I don't understand why these humans have been playing so-called video games for years instead of having Toast or whatever else. Aren't you glad you're playing Banjo-Kazooie right now? Banana. See, 1998, the year, that's the year before 2005. Now my existential crisis makes sense. See, 2005 was an okay year, I think. For me, it was. I was fine with it. The 90s, I had a lot more fun in the 90s. I'll be completely honest with you. Was everything better? No. There were things that weren't as good. But I had more fun in the 90s. And if we could marry the parts of this... If we could marry the parts of today that were good... He's got a huge hitbox, by the way, so... The N64 was special. Oh, man, I remember the N64. I remember a buddy of mine getting his... I didn't get an N64 until later. But I remember a buddy of mine, Eric, getting his in 96 and going and us just going wild on GoldenEye and what was it? It was GoldenEye. It was gosh dang this bull. It was he's right over the bridge I need to be at, but that's okay. See how tight the turns are with the the bumper held. There we go. But yeah, we played a lot of GoldenEye, played Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, some Super Mario 64, which, another great game. I still think Banjo-Kazooie is better, but I do really enjoy Mario 64. As a matter of fact, I probably will play some of that when I'm just on my personal time. Didn't mean to do that. When I talk about looking like an idiot, that was an example. I know this game like the back of my hand, and I decided to... Oops. There we go. Future Perfect is still my favorite FPS. And Future Perfect is great, though. That was bull. I don't know why I used the question mark for it. That's alright. Playing this with anything other than a 64 controller would be weird to me. I will say the Xbox controller is better on that. I love the 64 controller, don't get me wrong. But the control scheme this feels like when Xbox actually was trying, because this did come out. You got to consider Banjo-Kazooie got remastered in the early 2000s. Whoops, missed an Ekombokum. It got remastered in the early 2000s. I will tell you that the control scheme for the Xbox controller is fantastic. It's like, for example, to do the chicken, the chicken walk, this one, it's you pull the one trigger and then the other. So if your dominant hand is your left hand, you can pull with the right trigger and then hold with the left, or vice versa. For me, I'm ambidextrous, but I prefer my left hand in a lot of regards. And in this case, I get to hold the left thumbstick. Go ahead and grab that to take over my health. Boop. Tell me that wasn't clean. Just bought Gears of War on PS5, and it's weird to see. Great, though. But Gears of War is a great game. Again, I was talking with my brother a couple of days ago about the things that Xbox is doing, and that Xbox is doing that is just absolutely abysmal. And things like the way that they're trying to launch the Magnus and staging that up, and the way that they're you know. But I think that I think them bringing games to other consoles is a good move. I like that, because if they're gonna become if they're not going to make their platform the platform worth having a oh, I gotta go get the other Mumbo. I forgot it's in the Termite Hill. If they're not gonna make themselves the premier console to play on, then I think it's appropriate that we at least have the games that they offer. And I think Gears of War is a great game. I mean, the Gears of War games are fantastic. I would argue I actually like 2 even better than I like the first one. So, there we are. But what truly is a left hand is the hand right rather than wrong. What is a red right hand about? That's a good question. And to reiterate my earlier question, outside of perhaps video games, how can an adult have fun? I mean, an adult can have fun doing anything. I like to read, I like to draw, I like to write, I like to paint. I like video games a lot, and I think video games do a great job. I like to do things with cards. You guys have seen what I do with cards. There are all kinds of things. Find a passion, and then follow that passion. What is something that you enjoy? Do you enjoy photography? If so, invest in a camera. It doesn't have to be a great, ridiculous camera. Invest in a camera. If you like to draw, if you like to paint, if you like languages, if you like, you know, take that. Those are things you can do to have fun. The fact of the matter is, again, and I've used this phrase before, is we are burdened with convenience. Everything has been made very convenient for us. And because of that, we expect that everything should always be convenient. You know, oh, my having fun means that I don't have to do anything for it. And I'm not saying you're thinking this, Viddy, by the way. I'm just talking about in general, but oh, my having, you know, I want to have fun. My having fun means that I shouldn't have effort because effort isn't fun. It's like, no, I like to paint. I'm not a great painter, but if I want to become a good painter, I have to work at it. But then I get to enjoy painting, firstly, and then secondly, that painting is increasing my skill in, you know, the painting that I'm doing. So it's like, yeah. No fall damage for termite because of something called the inverse square law. I mean, I'm sure that's not what they did it for, but something called the inverse square law, which dictates something that is smaller can fall much farther, and it will not hurt. It will not take damage. And then we'll let the magic run out instead of running back in. Very bored in life. Yeah, that's good. I think I'm okay. I just kind of want to explore more group socializing, semi-retiring from YouTube and still having health issues. Well, and again, if YouTube is something that you have fun doing, don't make the retirement a hard line. Do the things you have fun with, right? You played the Socrates Jones game, I think it was. Which sadly I did not get to make. I apologize, and that was due to work-related circumstances. But even still, it's like, yeah, well, I'll start a podcast that focuses on nothing. Just heck yeah, 100%. Podcast, like that's the thing about it is everybody measures their hobby and how successful it is. You know, how many people are watching or listening. Measure your hobby and how successful it is, and how successful it is based on how you feel when you do it. Forget everything else. Oh, I gotta do my little dance. Boop. We'll go into Treasure Trove Cove. Yeah, was it just as a curiosity? Because you're saying you stopped enjoying making videos. Did you just stop enjoying the types of videos you were making? Was there another genre that you might have wanted to explore more? Look after your health more, which of course that should be a big goal, right? It's better that you would be around for longer. At least I hope to stream occasionally so I can talk to the community when I can, which I think is a good idea. Again, I think it's a good idea to be able to talk to the community, but I also think it's a good idea to... Probably going to take a snacker bite here, because I almost always do, but oh well. Yep. If you slam on their heads, you get 2 honeycomb instead of just 1. I've had some genuinely crazy health issues, which is why all my dumb stuff has taken so long. Hoping I can start as soon as I'm... Josh turned 50 last year. Saying last year feels weird suddenly. Yeah. There we go. Which, I mean, I definitely think that health should be something that we all focus on to some extent, but it's I'm curious more deeply, Vidi, what about it did you stop enjoying? Was it that you didn't have the engagement that you wanted? Is that how you measured it? Or was it strictly just the process exhausted you, or maybe you weren't thrilled about the subject matter that you were felt like you were being compelled to make them about? What What was it about it specifically that kind of just drained you, or that you found disinteresting? Or that began to disinterest you, I guess. Okay, don't make fun of the order I do things in. It is a wonky order, but it's mine, dang it. What types of videos were you making? Well, I mean, like, as far as the ones I watched, you did live streams on it. You did videos where you just played candidly and had fun doing it. Banjo-Kazooie is on that, as a matter of fact, which is one of my favorites of yours. But then you also did... Here, we'll just go ahead and knock this out real quick. Activity making videos itself just stopped being more and more enjoyable regardless of subject matter. In contrast to my earliers, I kept putting off editing until I realized it's not fun like it used to be. Okay, I see what you're saying. See, I like the process of editing quite a bit, but it's also... I agree that itself is very painstaking. I use DaVinci. What do you use to edit? Or what did you use to edit, at least? Because I really like I think your videos, especially the ones on... especially your outro video... Just very, very cinematic, very tasteful type of editing. It's the walk-off with the music inside, the music kind of swells as you kind of walk off screen. I really, really liked the way that was done. And I use DaVinci for mine, but I don't think I have your artistic eye. Which I thought was like really fun. But then you also did, like I said, you did the ones where you would just have candid plays too on Vidi Plays. Which I thought were great. Just you having fun. Okay, this one takes 2 hits no matter what, and it gets you only 1 honeycomb regardless. I don't understand why he's so special, but that's apparently it. I did enjoy Vidi Plays Banjo-Kazooie for sure. It's one of my favorites of yours, too, because you seemed like you were having a lot of fun in it, and then, of course, I have my little bits, and I'll probably go over the same ones I did before. Adobe Premiere Pro. See, I went from Adobe Premiere Pro. I really liked it, but it got to be too expensive. Oh, I forgot they raised the... This is also... This is the other thing that they did. Here, we'll... In the original 64 game, this doesn't exist, but I'll do it anyway, because why not? It's just a little nub of an island, because they didn't decide to integrate stop and swap, so it's like... You can tell because this is the unused music that's on the album. Which they eventually used kind of pieces and parts to inform Jolly Roger's Lagoon, which I screwed up. Yeah, I used Adobe for the longest time, and then it got really expensive because I had the entire Creative Suite, and the Creative Suite became like $70 a month? $75 a month, something like that. Now, I think a single app is like $20? But I use DaVinci Pro because it's free and it pretty well does everything I need it to. Matter of fact, it does a little bit more than I need to. I really wish I were better at this little jump thing. There we go. Oh, I don't need... Oh, really? Okay, fine. Secret that I've given away a lot of times. Uh-oh, I touched. If you slam on something and then you fall, it doesn't... You don't take fall damage. Infinite height. You guys don't do PS Share Factory? Yeah, sure. I don't... I honestly don't even know how to use it, to be fair. I'm sure I could. Take 2 of those. Come on. I'm gonna kill him. It doesn't kill him forever, he just stays away for a bit. There. That'll make it easier for me to swim for a little while. Does it have multi-layered editing? Yes, I believe so. In contrast to iMovie, which uses 1 or 2 layers. I believe so. I could be wrong, but I believe if I understand what you're asking, then the answer is yes. But I also may not understand, so. Oh, let me get this. Have you guys heard of Max Durant? I think you would like his videos. I haven't. I'll take a look at him. What does he do? Is he just does he go over things like editing, or is it just more of a he's a gamer also that seems to be genuine in his takes? Yes, I don't know who that is. I don't know a lot. That's the thing about internet culture is a weird thing to me. I was having that conversation yesterday with my daughter, no less, who was, you know, she's very much about all of the new gadgets and the internet, this and that, and I get it. I enjoy games and such, but it's also like there are a lot of things where you just kind of had to go out and do your own thing. Like you kind of just had to use your imagination. You just, you know. There we go. I'll go ahead and learn to fly real quick, too. I know this is not an optimized order, but yeah. I think I posted one of Chrono Trigger videos on my Discord, which I did the Chrono Trigger stream. Oh yeah, that was a good one, too. Talks about games in a philosophical way. Oh, okay, alright, that's pretty cool. Least of all, we talked about philosophy during that stream. Yeah, we did. Ratatoskr is one you might like. Something about his voice reminds me of yours a bit too, Retro. I don't know why. Ratatoskr is a fun Norse story. Ratatoskr is this kind of mischievous squirrel. Boop. He's just this kind of mischievous. Another not enough. Not enough? Haha. He's well known for Silent Hill videos and talking about the codec call of MGS2. Okay. Yeah, Ratatoskr is interesting because he's a Norse story, a squirrel, a mischievous squirrel who kind of just causes trouble, honestly. Who oftentimes finds himself on Yggdrasil, I think. For anybody who doesn't know, Yggdrasil is supposed to be the tree that holds the realms, right? So you have Midgard and Niflheim and Muspelheim and all that. Yggdrasil is that life tree that's supposed to basically hold all of those in its roots. And Ratatoskr doesn't tend to it, so to speak, but runs interference on it. So Max might like Max Durant too. If Fighting Max is a lot about the philosophical aspects of things, probably so. Let's try to miss the conversation with him. I know he's going to take damage doing that, but if you get too close to him, he will talk with you, and that'll delay things. Viddy might like Viddy Plays too. So, I guess, what is the difference when you... Because, just going to that real quick, you said you enjoyed playing the Banjo-Kazooie game on Viddy Plays. Why not tap into more of that as a creative outlet? Like, more of the, I'm going to play these games that I really enjoyed from your younger adulthood or childhood, or what I believe... You know, I mean, obviously, if you play the Socrates Jones game, if you're having fun with that, that makes sense. But it's like, why not go ahead and tap into? Why not go ahead and tap into the elements of it that you really enjoy? and do videos like that. Because you don't really have to edit much on those, right? You just kind of put your intro in, put your outro in, and you're done. That was kind of how I used to do a lot of the ones that I made post. It was just me. I would talk, I would have fun playing the game, and then I would talk, and then I would slap my intro on, my outro on, make sure the audio sounded good, and I'm done. You know, if color's wonky, fix the color. Goody plays is technically not possible to make. What happened? What made it impossible, I guess? Come on. Couldn't grab the blasted thing. Alright. I wish I still liked the idea of streaming. And that's another question. What is it that discourages you from the idea? You just don't like it? Uncomfortable. Okay, fair. I mean, that's... I like the idea of it because it gives me a real-time ability to stream, to speak with people. So, like, for example, I can... It kind of has the benefit of making episodic-style content. There we go. It makes... Like, I still have the ability to take kind of this episodic approach to things. But then on the other side of it, I can actually interact with a lot of you real-time also. I need to find the edge that's going to lead me into that little minefield. Kill these yum-yums real quick. There it is. It's alright. It's where we wanted to go. We'll get two back here. The longer it takes, the more. See, I think I'm at my best when I just have a few bullet points, hit record, and play a game. But it's been a while. I think, like, for me, again, the reason I like this is because I can talk with you real time. But then also, if people wanted to see this for posterity, let's say, well then, no problem. It's there. They can see all the conversations we had. They can see me playing the game, and so it kind of tackles both. It kind of accomplishes both. But I do love the process of actually making videos post. You know, that aren't necessarily live. I also enjoy that process a lot. There we go. Thing on the internet where you can talk to people in real time is a strange thing, but then again, I've seen stranger things. I like the idea of being able to. I like the idea of being able... If I would have done that right, that's supposed to happen at Mumbo's mountain. But yeah, I get where you might find it uncomfortable. I like the idea of being... Like, I can talk to you right now, and you can answer me, again, fairly real-time. It's not perfectly real-time, obviously, but pretty close, right? And then on the other side of that, I have the video for posterity, and then I'm also accomplishing single-handedly the goal of being able to play the game that I want to play. So it kind of kills all of the birds with a single stone, so to speak. With me, the uncomfortable part about it is kind of just a lot of people, I think, feel like there are obligations. Anna's this way too, and I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. That there's an obligation for there not to be dead air. You know, oh well, the people didn't come here to see dead air. Well, they didn't, but at the same time, there are people that literally leave their streams for minutes on end and to a blank chair. So it's like, people aren't that picky. Honestly, at the end of the day, they're not as picky as we might think them to be. And then on top of that, I'm not doing the stream because I shouldn't have jumped, because Snacker wouldn't have respawned if I wouldn't have. There's a glitch where if you stay in the water after he despawns, that it doesn't re-trigger him until you actually hit the water again. I didn't do that, so. But yeah, there's, like, I do it because I want to kill a lot of birds with that stone, and to me, that's, you know, that's worthwhile. Whoa. No. That's fine. He's rubber banded to you, so eventually he'll always catch you. He's kind of like Boggy and Frizzy Peaks the race. Or the most infamous, Canary Mary. Yeah, I don't need eggs. Doing some risky stuff. There's no real like there's no real like to you. You gotta love that. Lovely. The snacker quotes. People are terrified of dead air nowadays. I find it off. It's not awkward at all if there's a bit of silence, let people collect their thoughts and actually think about the words they're thinking. I felt like I attract questionable people to my stream, that's all I'll say, and I'm not someone who has the patience. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't say you attract them, because I think that kind of pushes blame intentionally or unintentionally off to yourself a little, or off onto yourself a little bit. But questionable people come in there. That's how you kill the mines. That's how you do it. I get that. There are people that definitely make things uncomfortable, and it's not fun to talk to people like that. I can understand that. For me, I just, like, I had the big thing. I don't know if anybody remembers this. Oh, really? It didn't target the pad. Was I off the pad? It was the, if I may, exception. What's an excellent idea, but I think it's very exact, if I may make an exceptional point. Yeah, the mine, the little spiky mine that's in there. I think many viewers are parasocial too. Well, Max had kind of pointed it out too. It's like, where does almost every online interaction has some level of parasocial to it, to some extent. So the question is, the question I asked is, where is the line drawn between what is parasocial and what is genuinely an online friendship, for example? How do you differentiate between that and say, okay, I'm not just going to write this off as parasocial, but this is actually something that genuinely has some merit to it? How do you do that? I don't know if the seagulls from Finding Nemo, or I'm gonna make assumption that that's the reference. You go get that last empty honeycomb out there. What's your take on parasocial connections in general? Well, it depends on how you define it. Again, when we talk about things like parasocial, are we talking about online connections where you have a belief that you know more than you do about someone, or that you feel more attached or connected to them? Or are we talking about any online relationship, because is that just the nature of an online relationship? Or is there, or can you have an online connection with somebody that is actually your friend? Because I think the latter. I think that parasocial is something that we see a lot of, but I think we're also very quick to slap anything that is online as parasocial, rather than, oh, you can actually build a genuine online relationship with somebody. There we go. There's a Mumbo skull around here too. Mumbo token. I think it's over here. Nope. Alright. They want to start acting like this Finding Nemo goals and say mine. That's probably true. Yeah, let me scoot this back so I can like that, and to hold this like that. I become lucky enough to find people who enjoy them. I will be grateful and thankful. I think that's fine. I do acknowledge my community. In my content fairly consistently, saying like things. Thank you, great community. Thanks for the patience and support. I don't know them anything. They don't need to know. That's fair. That's perfectly fair. Well, and that's kind of where I think that's the thing about the parasocial part of things too that I agree with. Is like I know some stuff about you. You know some stuff about me, but there isn't an oh. Firstly, secondly, we've been talking for years. But at the same time, how much of that is parasocial, do you think? Oh, he's back again. It's how some use it. That's fair. I completely agree that I completely agree that's the case. I think that there are a lot of people that feel that one of the biggest problems is this. There is a big feeling of entitlement, and the entitlement has gotten to the point of where it is other people's time, other people's process. Where, you know, I'm going to take my very valuable view away if you don't decide that you're going to do what I asked you to do in the first place. And it's like, I get that. I get where that's frustrating and unnecessary and need to actually land. There we go. Yeah, and I do you too. That's why my question was: is there a level of sociality to in the online relationship where there's a point where, you know, perhaps I've accidentally outstayed a welcome, or is there actually the ability to have a genuine make a genuine friend online? Because I agree with that. A random guy who enjoys watching my videos and assuming I've had an argument with my other half because I sound different in a video. Oh, that's not... but that's not even appropriate to speculate on for a friend. Like, if you sounded like you were way down and out, and I was like, hey, are you alright, man? You sound a little sad. Like, that's not... Like, that's... Okay, hold on. To me, that's just a weird way... Hold on, which one have I missed? Now I gotta think for a second. 9 out of 10. Oh, I know which one I'm missing. That's just a weird thing to speculate, though. Like, for me, it would be... Like, I agree with the... I agree with the ability... Like, if I heard something in your voice where you're streaming and then I'm like, okay, are you okay? I think that's an appropriate way to speculate, but to be like, oh no, I think you've specifically had this thing happen? No. I agree, that's weird. I think a lot of people also get really torn down by commentary. Again, when I was talking about the very valuable view thing, where it's like, you know, you're not going to get my view if you don't, you know, if you're not good at the game, if you don't pass the game in this amount of time, you're not, you know, then there's a lot of that too, which I think is completely unnecessary. I don't remember where the heck. Hold on, let me catch up real quick. Make sure I'm not getting a, I think we're still good. I think she's still with her friend. I make many jokes, most of the time stupid and only funny to me, but I'm never genuinely personal about when somebody or about someone or their family. That's really weird behavior that happens online. The rest sort of became history. Yeah. Back when I used to stream somebody making assumptions and comments about my other half, just because he was somewhat of a regular reviewer, that ain't happening with. Yeah, that's fair. Well, that's fair. I mean, like, that's not. I don't have any business making that speculation. That's, again, I consider you a friend, but I don't have any, that's not my business. If you want to share something with me and I, can talk and help with that, then sure, yeah, let's do it, but... But that's not appropriate. That's not the place I'd be doing that dance, Banjo. Okay. Speaking of other half, shipping on people's YouTube channel can get real uncomfortable. Like 2 people being shipped or heck, channels being subscribed to because they find the relationship. That is a weird thing. I'm married, that's the thing, so like... I don't need internet speculating on who I should or shouldn't end up with. I'm already with who I want to be with. I've been married for a while, so it's, You wouldn't do that, is my point. It's restricted. Yeah, but I feel like that's just such a weird, like, of course I wouldn't do that, but at the same time, it's just such a weird thing that I'm saying even being a friend, that's weird, right? Even being a friend, that's weird behavior, and yet at the same time, I don't know. That's just weird. That's just so weird. Strange people do exist, but then that seems strange a thing. I know not all streams have that, but I've had bad luck with it in the past. It's not the only thing that's put me off streaming. I just stopped enjoying it. No, that's fair. I mean, I completely understand why you would not enjoy that. That's such a weird thing to do. The internet, and that's, again, I think that goes back to kind of that goes kind of back to what I was saying before with how weird things have gotten in terms of, you don't shake hands, you can't shake hands, you're sterile, all this other stuff. Not sterile as in can't have children. Like, I'm not saying sterile in terms of lack of fecundity. I'm talking about, like, you're sterile in terms of behaviors because of COVID or because of, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden human interaction overall just becomes weird. Like, there's no physical contact anymore, but then there's also no common sense anymore. There's a lot of stuff that's just missing. And I feel like it's kind of a stair step. I mean, obviously, I think COVID exacerbated a lot of that very, very deeply, but... Oh, I skipped the Brentilda dialogue because of Grunty talking. Nice. And I know not all streams have that, but yeah, I get that too. Like, I wouldn't want to take the risk. I can understand, like, I wouldn't want to take the risk either. If I've had even that happen twice, 2 or 3 times, and it was something that really bothered me, I agree, I wouldn't want to do it either. For me, I don't care. there's, as I've said before, you have to be a part of a circle of people that I care about, and that circle's a pretty small circle. So if you're, if you're someone who came in here randomly and you're like, you should do this would be better for you, I'm going to sit there and be like, okay. Or, you should end up with this YouTuber, and I'm like, that's not how things work. Like, engineers don't just end up with engineers. Doctors don't just end up with doctors. Painters don't just end up with painters, right? So people who are on YouTube don't just end up with people who are on YouTube. You also have other people out there. And for me, my wife does happen to be on Twitch. Fine. But she's also got 300,000 other great interests. And she's really good at them. So, I think that's why I had my existential crisis. Like, I wanted to remember what it was like interacting with people before 2005. I see it often with a channel like that. People are super weird with the members. Yeah, I agree. There are good and bad things, right? So, for example, I agree that I think it's a good thing that we have the internet so that we can interact with each other. Because think about this. Before 2005... it would have not been likely that any of the three of us would have been able to interact or talk with each other, right? Geographically, we are just way far apart. And it would be very difficult unless one or more of us were traveling at that time and traveling into the, for example, I mean, you're south of the equator, Viddy. You're a whole series of time in the future from us. Move my leg into a comfortable position. Earpiece thing here. Then I don't get in trouble with the catch. There we go. Yeah, I agree with you, but I also understand how difficult it would be for us to have actually met, and I'm thankful that we had the opportunity to do so. I don't think, that's the catch-22 about it, but in terms of the genuine nature of the relationship, like, I would like it not to be. I would like to be able to travel to England or to Australia, and for me to be able to actually shake hands and say hey and have, lunch, or if you're like me, I do a lot of tea, so tea. And actually have a conversation. I had it happen before. A guy DM'd me on Twitter years back and said, hey, here's how you could gain more views, and I replied with, nah, I'm alright, mate. Which is perfect. Like, I'm so glad nobody shipped me with Mary on Viddy Plays, even though she clearly mentioned her husband on the commentary. She's one of my best friends. She has been since high school. Yeah. That's the thing. Hey, how's here you could get more views? That's not the reason. That's why I that's why I do my channel the way it is. It's like, that's not the reason I do the channel. I don't care about how many views or people. This is what I want to do. All the people feel like, and the way that people feel like they can talk to you about anything in your life just doesn't work. Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. I've become friends with, they're a bit more open about health issues, and so we've connected over that, but I would never share those combos online. Yeah. It's okay to connect, and it's okay to have conversations, even conversations that might originally be more of a more private nature. It's not appropriate that people feel, firstly, entitled to that type of information, and secondly, it's not appropriate to have that kind of information or have that kind of a conversation unless the person you're conversing with has, shown some sort of interest, or has shown some sort of, because it's also harmful to you. If it's also harmful to you, it's also harmful to, for example, if I come in Viddy and I start talking to you about different issues that I'm having, and I need to get a bubble real quick. I didn't do my due diligence in making sure you were an okay person. Dang it. Depth perception on this is very difficult. There we go. You know, but if I haven't, if I'm talking to you about sensitive topics, you know, talking about my wife and I, talking about different health issues I have, and I haven't done the appropriate, you know, the vetting to make sure you're a good person, then you could use that against me in other, you know, arenas, online arenas even. So there's some problem with people being too trusting online for them as much as it is for anybody else. I need to get closer to him so I can frickin' breathe the bubbles. There we go. It's very difficult to, for me, the depth perception on these is difficult. The word is weird. Like the word worm. I just hate how comfortable people are with online with insults. Hold on one second. Let me get back to the surface real quick. Yeah, I hate how, let's see. I hate how comfortable people are online with insults. Years back, someone said something to me about my other half that would have put him in the hospital if he were standing in front of me. Yeah, of course, yeah, but he's not. I've got the proxy of a screen, so I can say whatever I want. And you can't do anything to protect you. Which, by the way, what a cowardly and scumbag thing to do. I'm being very, very clear about this. If the anonymity of a screen makes you a worse person, then you need to not be behind a screen. If you can't treat a screen as if you're talking to the if you can't treat the screen as if you're actually talking to the person, as if the person were standing there in front of you, you don't need to have a screen. That's my personal opinion. These are things, like, if I say something that's contentious, I don't mind. I maintain anonymity, obviously, for safety reasons, right? But at the end of the day, if I say something here, and then you meet me in the real world, and you're like, well, what was your opinion about that thing again? Yeah, my opinion's the same thing, right? I'm not going to change that. So if you happen to know who I am, and meet me in the real world, my opinions aren't going to change. But I try to speak. I try to speak the same way that I would speak to a person if they were really here in front of me. Also, sometimes you might not like that, right? Sometimes I might say something that's a little, well, contentious, but people don't do that. People are, you know, I can tell you why I'm a better person than you. I'm not a better person than you. I'll tell you that right now. I'm probably a significantly worse person than you, but I'm okay with that. I'm still not going to be a jerk. That doesn't mean I need to be a jerk. Just because I may be a worse person than you doesn't mean I shouldn't strive to continuously be better, even behind a screen. I like these little guys with the jiggly eyes. I also like the music. Let's see. The word about being the word is weird. Yeah. I've really distanced, I've really distanced too. You guys don't remember how to profile pictures and stuff that show my face? Not anymore. That's true. I've forgotten where the current avatar... Yeah, Jackie Chan stuff, which is one of my favorites. I mean, I know what you look like, I remember what you look like, but at the same time, I get it. I love the Jackie Chan Stuntmaster pictures. Fantastic. Maybe I owe you an apology, because I didn't say any. I don't remember having said anything super specific, but I did mention the common ancestor thing that I mentioned earlier. So if I accidentally betrayed too much, I apologize. That wasn't my intent. You owe me an... Well, I made mention earlier of a physical characteristic, and you were saying you distance, so if I accidentally betrayed too much in that regard, then yes, I would apologize. That was me being stupid right there, though, and going into the wrong blasted tunnel. There we go. I'm so glad I deleted Twitter last year. I haven't missed it at all. Yeah, I don't mess with Twitter. I don't mess with any of that noise. Come on. It'd be really nice if I could make... I can, I just gotta remember to freaking hold the button. There we go. No, that's okay. It wasn't your fault, that's mine. Yeah, I just, like, I don't, I understand why things have gotten uncomfortable, but I don't understand why things have gotten uncomfortable. Like, I understand why you feel that way. Yeah, no, well, I mean, that was me just making sure I hadn't accidentally given something that wasn't mine to give. Viddy, I honestly think if you, the both of you, honestly, if you were game developers, I can guarantee you I would pretty well enjoy the games you'd make. I feel like, Viddy, you would make something like this, and then I feel like, Ash, I feel like you would make something like this, but with a, like a not 2.5D, but like maybe a 2D perspective. I mean, it could be 2.5D, but... I apologize for saying too much. For having 3 legs doesn't need to be. You know what? You advertised that just fine. Like, that's my thing too, is like, that's what I had wanted to do too. I know I did the channel before where I was on screen and I did it all in black and white and everything. I don't mind people kind of having an idea of what I'm like, but I kind of thought, you know what, let me step away. If I'm gonna, even if I want to do Mechanos cards again, which I really enjoy, and I probably would if I just didn't have enough time. But I would like to, you know, black and white, probably just my hands. It doesn't need to be me. People don't need to affiliate, you know, certain friends and such. Yeah, sure, you can know what I look like, and I'm okay with that. But then, for me, it's also like I don't want that information to be out there, even if it's simple information. I don't mind describing it because your imagination is going to fill in the blanks with whatever information your mind already has an idea of what I look like if you didn't know what I looked like before. So that can still exist, except for instead of you thinking I might have had brown eyes, you'll know that I have blue eyes, you know? That's fine. but at the same time, like you said, I'm not going to advertise myself, my image. There we go. I thought about doing a real comedy-centric channel too, but I just don't know if I have the patience to put time into that, as well as my main channel. And I also think, again, it doesn't, like, one of the big things that a lot of people kind of have said in the quote-unquote guru space of, you know, I'm gonna tell you how to get more followers and this and that and the other, all this stuff that you probably don't care about. It's like, oh, you gotta put your heart and soul into it. And it's like, you know, so long as you're enjoying what you're doing, you're probably 90% better than just about anybody else on the platform. Because if you, like, a lot of the people that are doing it, they're making good content, but then it's like, well, do they actually enjoy what they're doing? I would say, if you do your main channel, play the games you enjoy, do a review of whatever kind, just be candid about it even if it's not a review, just, I'm having fun playing this game. Ah, dang it. Go back into the guild real quick. Then it's like, throw a joke in there or something that just makes fun. Like you've done videos before where you had the, you've done videos before where you had the, you were comedic in tone. And it's like I thought it was funny. I thought it was good, so. Nice. Yeah, a little bit. Whoops. My other half's aware of you guys, as you've been mentioned before, and I said to her... That's funny. That's funny. Please, if it's not inappropriate, too, do let her know I've said hi. That's... I haven't heard from her in some time, but I hope she's doing well. Probably have dumb jokes, as that's... like I said, I think your jokes are great. They make me laugh, they catch me off guard, and so it's like, you know... One of the things I'm going to do for fun is just see if I can make it through here without getting hit. Probably not. Yeah, I got hit. 2. Twice isn't bad, though, for that many blades going that quickly. I've done it before where I don't, but... She's playing the Altars? Oh, I don't know if I know of that game. I wonder about a dystopian take where holograms or something would make it like the person you're watching or listening to is actually in the room. See, that would be cool, though, because that would allow you to actually... Like, that would go beyond parasocial. That would allow you to actually have a relationship with somebody who couldn't easily travel over there to you. I think that would be cool. Like, imagine this. Imagine if the three of us were actually sitting in the room real time, right? I'm holographically projected to a chair next to you. You know, Ash is holographically projected onto a chair next to me, and in all three of our rooms we had that. That would actually be beyond parasocial, because even though we can't actually... Oh, 1 second. I gotta put it back over.
こともできないから、ただ見てるだけだけど。日本のおすすめの場所？そう。どこですか？東ヨーロッパに行ってみたいって言ったら、ウクライナ人が だけだよ。
その場で
言われて。
警察に。
違う。警察の OB みたいな人。だって吸えないだからね、若い人に言いたいのは、タバコを吸い始めない方がいい。
だから吸い殻を持ちてないんですね。
吸い殻してないですよね。
吸えないから
常時タバコを吸いたい人は東京には来ない。
そういう条例ありますもんね。昨日港区に泊まってたんですけど、港区では歩きタバコは禁止ですって書いてました。
歩きタバコして見つかると罰金を取られる。
「
goodness, sorry about that. Had a phone call come in at random. That was the ringtone of the phone call. A little kind of weird beeping sounding thing, so yeah. And I've been keeping track of what's been going on. Talking about getting the retro tink and all that. Research mode was before 2005. The retro tink is great. It's so much more expensive. They also came out with they also came out recently with an N64 called the Analog 64, which for whatever reason is also like $400 or $500, but it's also like $400 or $500, but it's apparently fully compatible with 64 games, full HD output, better control scheme, or at least the thumbstick won't give out on you completely. Incredible. Says Desert Saiyan. Hey, Desert Saiyan. Welcome in. Sorry, I just got back from a big call there, so... Let's go ahead and go down this thing. One of these will just trap you. It's got a... Are you saying incredible to the game? Because this is this is an incredible game. Absolutely 110%. Just go ahead and use that sharp turn there for a second. Those are gold feathers, don't need those. Those are red feathers, don't need those. I think it's this long pipe I'm looking for here. I think. Nope. Okay. This is back when, this is definitely back when they made games with people having fun in mind, more so than I think they do now. It looks like it first time seeing it. This is one of my favorite games. I've been playing this game for almost 30 years. Doesn't mean I'm good at it. I think I'm decent. I know a thing or two, but honestly, this is one of my favorite games. This came out in 1998. This version is the Xbox version, of course, just because that's a little easier to stream. But all in all, if you have not played this game, it is a game that I would put in top 10 games that everybody should have played at least once in their life. Just because I think people would enjoy it. I know not it's going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I think a lot of people would very much enjoy this. Alright, let's go ahead and break this, get the Genjo. That gives us the feature stimulating... No, it was not. It was my mother who is sick. And then let's go ahead and grab the empty honeycomb from over here. And that's one more honeycomb. Putting microtransactions. Say, having fun in mind in game. We need to make. Hold on. We need to know about the microtransaction strategy and how we can keep the player invested forever. You know what? Here's the thing that's funny and ironic about that both. Is I'm playing this game almost 30 years later. Clearly, I'm still invested. Are they still making money from it? No, but at the same time, who cares? Like, I'm still playing this game. I'm still invested in this game. Hope your mother gets better soon. Oh, thank you. She's all right. It's not like a terminal illness. She's just come back from a trip and she's just not feeling well, under the weather, so to speak. But I very much appreciate the well wishes. I'm missing two. I know one is there, but where is the other? They're not making money for it. Well, and I agree, but then make another good game. I know that's a hard concept, but if you make good games, then you don't need to keep capitalizing off of the other game that you made. And I've bought this game is so good, I have bought it a couple of times, so they did still make some money from this, right? It's just a matter of people are basically saying, I want the money without having to put in any effort. And it's like, okay, well, you get upset at us when we do that. When you get upset at the common worker when they do that. But I get all at 94, so I'm missing 6 notes. I mean, that's more than plenty. I could go ahead and go to Bubble Goop Swamp, I suppose. But that is going to bother me. So I need to know where the heck. Here, I'll go in. I'm pretty sure the blowhole just drops me down onto where the flight pad is. Boop. There we go. Nope, this is where I needed to be. Boop. And that's all 10 jiggies. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with Mario. Even if you want to do the Mario formula, we are swamped with collectibles. Yeah, that's true. If I wanted to do the same thing with the Mario formula, for example, right? You can continue to make Mario games. The Mario formula is kind of the same as it's always been. Jump over holes, jump on bad guys, right? Jump on Goombas. But then Super Mario Wonder says, oh, let's put a seed in there, like a bubble power-up and an elephant power-up. And a drill power-up. Oh, okay, so you've made a new game, you've used a similar formula. I think Super Mario Wonder's great. Donkey Kong Country Bonanza is another great example of a good game that uses an old formula. It does use more of the Super Mario Odyssey formula. Tropical Freeze, another great example of a game that uses an old formula. And people getting upset about the fact that they're not consistently making money on efforts long past, especially Microsoft. You know, make Banjo 3, and I guarantee you would flood, make it well, right? Make it in line with, you know, maybe get some of the old Rare guys back. Make Banjo 3E, and you would break records. But you'd have to make Banjo 3E like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. You couldn't just make it like nuts and bolts. You'd need to actually make... You know, Grunty comes back head in the robot body like she does on the Game Boy Advance or whatever. Let's get the heck out of here. We'll go to Bubble Goop Swamp. We've got more than plenty. Yay! Oh, I forgot. Oh, I didn't open Bubble Goop Swamp, did I? Yeah, I did. I think I did. There we go. It's very satisfying, the ground pound, basically. That's the thing, though. I think if they would go and they'd make a Banjo 3, they would make it... You know, graphics don't have to be a lot better. Make Banjo 3. You'll be fine. Make the perfect Dark game that you canceled. Or Banjo's minigame character says, I don't believe, how could you? And Banjo just says, thanks. If you've never played the Game Boy Advance one, by the way, the one where Grundy goes in and does her thing as a spirit embodying a robot, then, you know, it's worth a play. I've already shown this before, but it is just a fun... Kinda gotta make sure you're right in that little corner. I may not be able to get it to target. There's a little corner nook right here, and it's oh, they bit me anyway, and I did it twice. There it was. Let me oh, that's right. I need hold on. I'll take the I did it twice, I just did it wrong. Banjo has smelly feet confirmed, according to the piranha. Let's see here if I can show this, but... You have to hit that from the right angle, or otherwise one of those will go into the water. Okay. I'll see if I can do it. If I can't, if I get back down to 1, then it'll just be... But there's a corner right here, and you kind of go across it like this, right on the edge. And hug the point. That's an Ash style joke. That's funny. Okay, see that point right there? Okay, they got me. Did you see where the when you see the big when you see that big splash that happens? I mean, the stakes are low. It's not a big deal. I'll see if I can do it again. But where you see this point right here, if you do it just right on the point, which I can't seem to it's a very tight little window. There, goodness, you can swim in this. That's what I was trying to get through. Now, if you jump out, you're going to get bitten by piranha again. But this is what I was trying to show. It's very difficult. But when you get that point, you can actually swim in the piranha water. It's a very difficult trick to get done. And the reason I got bitten again is because the reason I got bitten again was because whoops. Was because I hit where I could stand. I did where I could stand. I don't have the boots, but I wanted to come over here and do this quicker. Yay! I've got more than plenty. Yeah, it's one of the kind of a cool trick. There are all kinds of cool tricks. This is one of them. And then I'll go ahead and take the damage so that I can respawn at the beginning. It didn't respawn. Ah, it didn't respawn me at the beginning. Okay. Well, then we're going to do this the other way. We're going to use the gold feathers to get there. We're going to have to take a couple of hits, though, because if I touch the sidewall here, it will take me out of the invulnerability animation. There we go. Yeah, so there's one of the tricks you can use. You can actually just swim in the Bubble Goop Swamp piranha water. No problem, so long as you hit that little edge. But that edge, as you saw, is not easy to hit, so... Go away. Learn our new move real quick. But they get to the point they very much front load the moves so that you're, you know, oh hey, here are the moves you need to know. And then they here are the moves you need to know, and then they immediately move you to you're learning, you know, one new move per. So we'll learn one new move in Freeze Easy Peaks, we'll learn one new move in Gobi's Valley, and I believe that is the last whoops. I believe that's the last move we learn, period. Which is we will learn the Beak Bomb or the Beak Buster, I believe, in Freeze Easy Peak, and then in Gobi's Valley we'll learn to use the Talon Trotters, I think they are. Talon Trot's this, but the speedy shoes. Okay. This level is always one that I've really enjoyed, though. It's not. I mean, it definitely has the frustrating stuff. Mr. Vile is the most frustrating in this whole game for me. I say that. That may not be true. I think he is. And then this with the non-C button controls is much easier, but it's still not quite easy. I mean, you can see now that I've made it here within that amount of time, I've got 16 seconds, you know, I had plenty of time. But doing this with the original thumbstick, not easy. Even doing this on the Switch is significantly harder. Then grab him. I do wish the other things that I kind of wanted to go back and think on, which I think are things that don't happen terribly often, or what people don't think about terribly often, is what would the transformations look like for the worlds that didn't have transformations? Like, if you had a transformation on... if you had a transformation in Rusty Bucket Bay, what would that be? If you had a transformation in Treasure Trove Cove, what would that be? If you had a transformation in Gobi's Valley, what would that look like? Those would have been ones I would have really liked to have seen. Wait for our little... You know, we won't wait for our little leaf. We will get those notes back there, because I want to. You can also cancel out earlier, which I did, by hitting the... You'll notice I still have 9 lives. I'm doing fine. You can cancel early by hitting the B button if you're on your 64. If you're not on your 64 anymore, then it's the X button on Xbox. So you can actually cancel out. Like, there's all kinds of cool stuff here. Whoops. There we go. And here are the flibbits. See, I like these are little these are the things I really like about this is the game is it's a mini game. It's a mini game about killing little frogs, right? Which again, sounds terrible when you say it without context. But at the same time, the game doesn't need to complicate itself with all these advanced features. It's just this is how you get a jiggy. Oops. we go. You got the frogs would sue over this moment. They would. Like the premise of this isn't that difficult. It's literally just like, hey, kill some frogs. Here you go, kill some frogs. You get a Jiggy. Oh, let's make a little mini game. It's a memory game. Oh, you have to slam on these turtles so they make a musical note sound that will be in this particular order. It doesn't focus itself on being ridiculously cohesive. I mean, it is obviously cohesive, but it's like, instead of focusing on being entirely cohesive and realistic, and it's just like, you found some turtles, you found some frogs, you know. And I kind of wish that that's where they would go back to in a lot of these. It's a fun collectathon about a bear and a bird. And I think there was some kind of self-awareness that had occurred. Probably ironic, but it was where people were saying, or where in Nuts and Bolts they said, people don't want boring collectathons anymore, and they made it super tedious. Where it was like, okay, you have to collect, you know, when you're with Grunty and she's got just her head, you have her. You're collecting things that are literally like 2 centimeters in front of the previous one. And it's like, you're over-exaggerating the point. People love the collectathon because people love the collectathon if the journey warrants it. Like, there's something very exploratory about this. There's something very, like, I feel like I'm looking around a world. Now, I know this world very well. I've done this for 30 years, almost. But at the same time, it's one of those things where, imagine somebody playing this for the first time. My daughter, for example, right, is going through this. She's never gone through this game. She's going through it for the very first time. And she's, you know, well, what's over here? Well, what's over here? There's a lot of these elements of exploration. It's not always about just hitting the goal. It's about, come here. It's not always just about hitting the goal. It's about, I like turtles. All right. You're a great zombie. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of this is about just kind of poking around. Oh, what happens when you climb these matchsticks? You know, I mean, I know they're supposed to be something else, I'm sure, but I've always thought they were matchsticks. What happens when you climb this one? What's on top of this one? Oh, it's notes. I need notes, you know? They did a really good job, I don't know, of balancing things and making it feel... I'll take that back. They did a really good job of making things seem fun and encouraging you just to kind of explore and enjoy. Did I do it? Yeah. You don't know where your next Genjo is going to be. You don't know where your next note's going to be. I don't know. There's just something about it that all... It's almost like something out of the Pikmin game, or even another Crab's Treasure. It definitely feels very... The matchsticks feel like I mean, does this not look like a matchstick? I'm sure it's supposed to be like a well, I would say a cattail, but it's not. The top part it doesn't go down far enough to be a cattail, or what we would call a cattail. I'm sure there are other names elsewhere, but we would call them a cattail. And it's like, man, this is... You know, how cool is this, that this is encouraging you to explore all of these different areas? This is a whole world that you get to collect in, but then while you're doing it, you're building up this new, you know... I don't know. I probably, as many interruptions as I've had, sadly, I don't think I'll be able to steamroll the entirety of this, but I might make it a two-parter just to think... I just wanted the first stream I did for the year to be something that I was going to have fun doing. Banjo-Kazooie is almost always a guarantee for that for me, so... I do hate that, though. Every single time with that note. You can actually walk through that note. That one I just missed. And then this is a tricky piece, but we'll do it anyway. 10 seconds to get to that side. I need to... It didn't let me rotate the camera, so I'm gonna let it break. So let's look at one of the fondest memories of last year, which of course was... Where did that come from? There we go. What memory? I was going to say that was the fondest memory of 2025 with the most that's all right. The most unpleasant aroma, but the fondest of memories. There we go. I don't know. I think we should do. Obviously, a New Year's resolution, as I said, is not ideal, because it should be something that you're encouraged to do yourself, something you're excited to do yourself, obviously. But at the same time, I think it is appropriate for us to look back and say, what do we want different of 2026? What do we want 2026 to look like? What are things that we did do in 2025 that were fun? What are things we did do in 2025 that were not fun, that we shouldn't have done, you know? And I think part of me was too tolerant in 2025. I think let's do this. Yeah, I think 2025 was a rough year for a lot of people. But I think for me, I was too tolerant. I think I allowed too many people who didn't matter to take too much time that did. And I think that 2026, I won't be as tolerant with people that do that. And there are a lot of people inside of my own workplace being those people too. There's a guy that I am having to work for at this time that doesn't offer a lot of value. I just can't be interested with that. the most fond memory already. Being distracted and falling by reminiscing on 2025 and falling into water. Yeah. There we go. Send a quick message. Go back here and get the... There we go. I like the little crocodile. Yep, yeah, he's sitting in front of a token. So... We'll do the, we'll get the little Jinjo down there, and then we'll also get the notes and stuff that I didn't get from the previous. And they have stuff in here too that you're encouraged to, like, for right here, you can't do much of this. You can't do this right here as Banjo. I mean, you can glitch, I guess. But it's, you know, little things like, what's the next transformation going to be? Will the next world have a transformation? What's the next power I'm going to learn? right? You know, all this time I'm doing that, I never realized those boots were back there. I never used them. I always just become the crocodile for this part. That's funny. There's a Globo inside the third wigwam and bench. Yeah, they made that one easy to find, which I thought was fun. But then you had to find the Mega Globo and get one of the coolest transformations that have happened in either of the two games. In my opinion. That's the, what is the third? Witchy World. No, not Witchy World. There's no transformation there. What is the third one? I can't think of that right now. Witchy World's the third world, but it's not... It's the one that doesn't have a wigwam inside of it. The wigwam is outside. That's where the Mega Globo goes. Because the first one is the Mayhem Temple, and that's where you turn into a Stony. The second one is Glitter Gulch Mine, you turn into the Pump Dynamite. Witchy World doesn't have one inside of it. Yeah, it does. It has the truck. The bank truck. Someone who tends to say their opinion is fat. Hold on. Speaking of opinions, I found an interesting quote on Doctor Who forum, possibly someone who tends to say their opinion is fact. Oh, okay. Whoops. Yeah, the Mr. Vile section is difficult. Let's see. And I was entirely correct. Media is not bad simply because you don't like it. That just makes it not media that you're interested in watching. For example, I don't like soap operas, so I don't watch them. I'm not saying that they're bad TV. I simply have no interest in them. It's not my problem if you cannot comprehend reality. I mean, again, I get that. I get that perspective. And it is... There are things that are objectively bad, right? There are things that you may not have interest in that are good, or that are decent for some people, but then there are things that are just objectively bad, where there's the approval rating is so far, like, somebody enjoys it, but it's probably not someone, you know, media-wise, I guess you could argue it, but you could also argue the same thing of almost anything. Almost everything is relative in that regard. But there are some things that are just objectively not of credit. There we go. Banjo now has those yumblies inside. It's furry bear stomach when he I wonder what happens to them. That's a good question. This is the hard one. see if I can... Couldn't even find a Grumbly if I wanted to. There we go, that's how you do it. Yes, and I don't like Superman 64 because I'm not interested in it? No, that's a... Exactly. Well, Superman 64 is a bad game. I mean, there aren't very many people I know of that do like it. And you could sit there and say, well, that's not really a... That's a fallacy. That's a logical fallacy. And it might be, but at the same time, it's... Superman 64 is not a good game. I believe that's all I actually have to do is the crocodile. It's that last minute one. I know it's the cheese that I put on the pasta, so to speak, there. But I know at the very end, it will always change just enough for you to get one last one. And if the difference between the two of you are 1, you can always eat that yumbly, and it will always give you the 1 extra you need beyond Mr. File. Whoops. All right. I mean, there probably are people that like it that way, but it's not like The Room, right? The Room is bad. I'm gonna just cut through all the nonsense here and take the damage. Oh. Like it's not like there are things that are bad in a good way because there are things that can be extrapolated from the, you know, for example, it's if you said, okay, I want The Room. We talked about The Room earlier. It's like Tommy Wiseau was funny in it. The way that he performed was funny, right? So we can do that. But if you go into, is that an objectively good movie where it had plot and everything? No. I mean, it was a wonky plot. It was weirdly acted. It was somewhat stilted. Oops. There we go. I didn't play Super... Oh, hi, Mark. I did not play Superman 64. I did not. I do love that, but it's not a good movie. Like, I'm not going to look at you and say, oh, this is a great movie. I'm going to look at you and say, this is a movie where you probably are going to get a laugh out of it, and that'll be what it'll be good for. It's not a good movie because the criteria of what a movie is has been established, or what a good movie is has been established. It has plot, it has story, it fulfills that. The actors suspend your disbelief involuntarily. Right? You don't have to focus on that you're watching. You're watching. You don't have to focus and tell yourself I'm not watching a movie, right? Because the actors are so good, they pull you out of believing you were watching a movie in the first place. So it's not even a matter of that at this point. All right. I don't want to right now. Made a little triangle. I'll do that in a second. No, I didn't forget. Dang it. I thought I had to hit a button to engage with you, but I don't. The retro room. Now that is good. Okay, I'll wait until I do this whole thing, I guess. Goodness. It was this one. It was this one. Oops. It was this one. Well, I appreciate that you think the retro room is good. Let's see. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, we'll try again. Yes, I forgot. I'm sorry. I wasn't what. Yeah, okay, fair. They called me out and I was like, eh. Big triangle. Big triangle, then playback. Oops. There we go. Oh, I wasn't paying enough attention to that at all. Yeah, the big tip-top is rude to Banjo. Yellow, pink, red, pink, blue, light blue, pink. Bum, 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 bum. Hello. I think I'm just missing stuff here. I'm trying to see if he'll say something else, but he doesn't. I'm probably gonna get hurt. I guess I did. Okay, I guess I didn't get hurt. Okay. No, but I'm gonna take your honeycomb. There we go. There we go. Alright, I think this will probably be where I cut things off. I've been doing things for about 4 hours. And it seems like that every time I get started up again, I get a call, or I get a text, or I get a, you know, so I'm going to probably take a break so I can get some of those things addressed. That's another thing I need to work on in 2026, is making myself less available. I need to... One of the things I think we got too comfortable happening is we are 24/7 available to be called by other people, and some that don't matter, a lot that don't matter, and I need to make myself much less available. So I think that's another thing I will be working on for the 2026 year. Get rid of the mean... Whoops. There we go. We already opened for ZZ Peak. I didn't get the Cheeto page, but I can get that later. We will... I'm going to see if I can do the cheesy way to get the cheesy way to get this. It's not hard to get the correct way, but I just kind of want to see if I can do it the cheaty way. The way this originally works is you're supposed to do a jump into a giant vase, basically. But you technically can do it... Oops, we'll go ahead and open this up real quick. Yeah, I think you can technically just do it from jumping on the finger. So I'm going to try to do that. Maybe not. Maybe it's something that has to be done. Whoops. Hold on, let's see if I can do it. I could be wrong. I think I thought it was something that could be done from this, but it does look like it might be too far away. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know if I can quite reach it, so maybe they fixed it, or maybe I just don't remember how it was done, but I believe it was something like that where you could just jump onto the finger, but I'll get it the normal way. just boots in there, and then we'll go ahead and crack the other one open too. Boop. And that's where the switch will be. And our first exposure to blue gorillas, which take 2 hits. I'm gonna go and hop up behind here and get the Mumbo token real quick. If she were really wise, she would just keep these, she would just keep the ones where he's behind a gate to get them. She'd just keep the gate closed and he'd be stuck. But alright, I think that's where I'm going to cut it. 400, I mean, we did half. I probably could have done way more, but I kept getting calls and texts and all that kind of stuff, so I apologize for that. I appreciate you guys for being patient with me, though. Let me go ahead and move it over. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody for popping in and saying hi and talking with me. And so, big thank you to Viddy, to Fighting Max, and to Ash, of course, who are here. And then, of course, we had a couple of other people who popped in. One of them was, and if we're going to be saying, one of the Saiyans, I think? Saiyan? I can't quite see, sadly. Will it show me? Desert Saiyan? And Hummus Hero, who stopped in to say hi also. So huge thank you to all of you for popping in. Huge thank you to Viddy, to Ash, to Fighting Max, to Desert Saiyan, and to Hummus Hero 9428 for popping in, saying hi, talking with me. I really appreciate it. I hope that you all have a wonderful 2026, a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful beginning to your weekend. And yeah, I won't give a lot of preamble, or a lot of post-amble, I guess this would be. But you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
サスケの勝ちだよ。内海たちは死亡。
なんてね。